Hello and welcome to another episode of Scavenger Life. This is episode number 462 at scavengerlife.com.
Hello and welcome.
Welcome again.
I wonder which episode it's going to be. This is Scavenger Life episode XXX. Today I have sad news to report. One of us is dead.
Will we end the podcast before then? Right.
I don't need to.
Is it going to be how many years in the future are we Jay's no longer joining us?
We are pretty committed people. I think that's
so
why.
Awful. I can't believe you just started the podcast like that.
Our way of selling on eBay is kind of just like the turtle, the tortoise, slow and steady. You just kind of do it. Ups and downs, you go through it. And we do this with the podcast too, every single week. And we talked about it. Maybe we'll just keep doing this. It's just like a diary of our lives, but there'll be a point where...
will we end it before that?
Wouldn't that be crazy? What a crazy
thought to start with.
What a crazy reality. And actually, I was thinking, we were talking about the other week about... I think I was asking you, because we haven't really kind of talked about it in detail about, what are we doing all this for? What do we want our lives to look like when we get older? What are we working for?
Right.
And I don't know if we quite had an answer.
I feel like I never I think about it constantly. I literally think about it every single day.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. And then do you have an answer?
The answer's not necessarily future based. It's based in now where, generally the answer seems to be, I don't want to work for someone else.
Sure.
And that's a very contemporary, now based.
And, it's not having the alarm clock. And right. Okay. So I was thinking about it. And so one thing we're doing is, we're building this coffee shop on our main street. And we're pretty committed to this small town.
Yeah.
We don't put money in the stock market. We basically are investing in this town.
Yeah.
Hoping we want to be part of helping this town get better.
Yeah.
So what I'm thinking is this Main Street business we're building, I want to be able to make a Main Street business that's successful.
Yeah.
I'm not going to get rich off of it, but it's sustainable and it's making us some money. And I want to be able to go there and be able to hang out there as an old man,
I hope it exists then. Although you're going to be old pretty soon, so. I'm just kidding. It's not that far away.
I guess in the grand scheme of things, it's true. But so that's it's what I'm thinking. I don't want to be on a beach. I don't want to buy a place in Florida.
No.
I don't want to buy a house on a golf course.
No. You want to hang out at your coffee shop.
And what other fantasies people
have
about getting old is, I want to be able just to wake up in the morning, go to the coffee shop that I am a part owner in.
Right.
And be able to be there.
Yeah. And, you created this space.
And see life happening and know people. That's it.
Yeah. I think for me, this was my day yesterday, as you clearly know, because you were there with me.
Okay. I want to see how you describe this.
It's a struggle to get to that place. It's a struggle to do what we're doing on our own.
Talk about the specific struggle.
So the struggle is, it's the stresses of making money and then spending it, and, the stresses of having the ways you make that money.
Well,
the ways you, have to make it and spend it, and it's everything that goes into it. We don't have paychecks. We have to work every day to make sure the money's coming in so that these projects that we're working on can happen. And that's stressful, on different levels. For me.
Right. Is. I agree. The stress is we're spending money on something that there's no guarantee it's going to work.
Right.
Yes. So we're investing money in this building where there'll be a coffee roaster in it.
Yep.
That we're working on a building where there will be a coffee shop in it. It's not a small amount of money,
No, it's not.
other people send their kids to college, which is awesome. We're doing this, it's that kind of money.
It's that kind of money.
And there's no guarantee it's
and
going to
that's
work.
look, that's true with all small businesses.
Right.
Essentially, every business, really.
Right.
There's no guarantee it's going to work ever.
Right.
So the question always is why? Like, why are you doing this? And I think, I always ask myself this, but with the pandemic where we're like, we weren't allowed to do short-term rentals, that stuff, all businesses were being shut down. Things are loosening up a little bit, but, that feeling of, doing eBay where we're like, oh, we're surviving solely on this little-ish online business. And it's eBay is stressful sometimes, but compared to the other things that we're doing, I'm like, I wake up, I ship some stuff, I answer some questions. Like, it seems so simple.
I will say it made me laugh when you were saying how eBay is so easy, because there have been times in our life when eBay was a major part of our life where you were very stressed out by eBay.
Sure.
Dealing with customers, keeping up with listing and taking photos.
Right.
It can feel very nonstop.
Can be. It can feel like a grind. Yes.
It's funny how you're like,
no, I mean, look, it's like trading one for the other. Right. You're like, I think I was talking to my sister yesterday and we were just kind of joking around where I'm like, this non-traditional life that many of my family members have, it's hard sometimes. And she's like, even a regular, normal, like, paycheck life is also hard. Like, well, it just is life.
I think that's the thing I remind you of. You've never really had to have a regular kind of job. You had it for a couple of years.
It's never that I didn't have to. It's that I chose other directions.
Sorry. You have never experienced like long time periods of being in jobs. Yeah. Even when you were like a teenager, you worked at like a friend's business, but that's not like I remember working in fast food places and like working in restaurants.
Well, and you've worked in offices. You've worked in offices for long periods of time.
Like all the things, all of the stereotypes people have about, working for bad businesses, like I've actually experienced that. Yeah. So I don't know.
You're like, I feel Ryan, shut up.
I feel like that helps me deal with some of the stress because I'm like, this is still great.
This is great. Yeah.
Like I like the stress because again, we're the master of our own destiny here.
Yeah.
And if we don't like what something is happening, we don't like when something is happening. Yeah. We can change that. Yeah. Whereas when you work for someone else, oftentimes you can quit, but that's all you can do,
I think the burden of responsibility sometimes is a lot for me, where I'm like, like you said, if something's wrong, well, guess who's going to fix it or find a way to fix it or create the change that fixes it?
Right.
That's you.
Right.
Nobody else is going to do that. And I think sometimes I'm like, I don't want to have to do it,
Yeah.
So that's tough sometimes. That was my day yesterday. So,
I do want to remind people. So eBay sales are really good right now.
Yeah.
Like we've had, it's so ironic that when this pandemic happens and the economy's shutting down, those of us that have inventories on eBay, we've actually seen we've had some of our best weeks in the past 12 months. I do want to remind people though that this is not normal,
Right.
And I feel like that happens a lot with eBay sellers, us included, where you're just like, oh, this is normal. It's been happening for 3 months.
Right.
I can always count on X amount of dollars. Right. And I just have to remind ourselves is like, enjoy it while it lasts.
Right. Keep up with it.
Take advantage of it.
Yeah.
Dig into those death piles, get all that stuff up.
Yep.
But, I always have to remind ourselves, don't get our expenses up to match these like great sales.
Right.
I have to remember to match our expenses to like what is, kind of our bad sales.
Well, the average, right? Yeah. Well, it's funny. I thought of Christmas because that's what we always say. Like the fourth quarter, which last fourth quarter wasn't amazing by any means, but on Reddit, there's a USPS, post office subreddit, mostly for people who work at the post office, which is endlessly fascinating to me. But some postal carriers will take a picture of the back of their truck and they're just like, it's Christmas too right now because there are so many packages going out every single day in May. Right. What? Because everyone's living online. Right. Like you're grocery shopping, you're getting all your basics online. You're shopping because you're bored. Right. Like some people are definitely doing
puzzles and stuff. Yeah.
And my other hypothesis the other day, which I think we mentioned on this podcast, was people who do generally shop at thrift stores for themselves, shop at estate sales and auctions for themselves, are shopping on eBay, which I wish they would do all the time. But, the in-person experience is limited right now, or not existing at all.
That's interesting. I wonder if this is going to change habits, like more collectors are going to just buy online because...
I mean, that's how it used to be when eBay started. Like there were estate sales and stuff, but I feel like it wasn't as widespread.
Yeah.
But I hope it stays... Look, I mean, the cool thing about eBay is you can be like, I want this very specific thing. I might not find it at that estate sale, but... Yeah.
So before we talk about specifically eBay stuff, I do want to mention kind of scavenger stuff. So we actually tried the Walmart grocery pickup.
Yeah, it's not delivery, it's pickup.
Right. And, because I was talking to a buddy of mine who says he does it. And I guess they've had it for a long time where you go on your app, and this is not an advertisement for Walmart. But
there are lots of grocery stores that do it now.
We live in a rural area, so Walmart's
So there's Walmart.
So it's an app, and it's, it can be done on the computer too, and you just shop basically online. I want 20 pounds of chicken.
Literally,
8 pounds of cheese. And they would actually give you, you can only buy 3 of these.
Right, which is fine. They would limit you.
And then you pick a time to pick it up, like a specific, 12 o'clock on Monday.
Yep.
Then you show up there, and you park on the side.
And you pop your trunk.
In, a numbered parking spot, and then you text them. And then, this person will come out and just load up your car. And, it's already been paid for.
Right.
Online. And it worked out well. We ended up spending $300 in groceries, which for us
is a lot.
Is a lot of money.
Although we were really stocked. Like you said, 20 pounds. I think we got 50 pounds of chicken. There was so much chicken.
Yeah.
It's frozen chicken, but we eat that almost every single day.
Yeah, because I guess, I was talking to a friend of ours, and she was like, I want to go to Costco, and I just want to buy enough for... a 3 months, so I don't have to keep going back.
Right.
But I get it because they are now saying you can only buy certain quantities.
If you have to go back,
you have to shop more. Right. So it's a conundrum. I get why stores are doing it, and I'm glad they do, so people aren't hoarding. But so we have enough food now. Again, we keep saying it for a long time.
We were stocking up on stuff, but the funny thing about that system is they missed a few things. We were unpacking and I was looking at my list, and they said that a couple things were out of stock.
Right.
So they refunded me for that already. But there were several things that just weren't there.
Right.
So I had, that's kind of because
they didn't know who they were dealing with.
Oh.
You were going through the list and checking. Yeah.
Because we paid for it, It was only $10 off, but still. For a scavenger, $10 is a lot of money.
I talked to the guy I'm doing that building with, and I told him, there was some stuff that they didn't put in there. He's like, oh, I never checked, so I wouldn't even know. I think most people are like that. They just... So they don't know who they're dealing with.
But for me also, there were things that we wanted, like canned tuna, because we're that's a good non-perishable canned food. They didn't give it to us, so I got refunded. But
we'll wrap this up. This is not the Walmart podcast.
Grocery talk.
I do think it's interesting. Any grocery store, especially a place like Walmart, their margins are very, very thin.
Yeah.
They're not making a lot on each thing.
Right.
So there's no charge for this service.
Very interesting. There's no charge.
And so I'm paying the same prices. And,
someone else shopped for me.
And actually, when things were not in stock, they would automatically replace it. And because we always buy the generic stuff, it always got replaced by a better...
a higher quality brand.
Higher quality, a more expensive, and they don't charge you anymore. I don't know how they're making any money on this. But
now, some of those, I will say, some of those substitutions were not even in our bag.
Right.
So the tuna, I got tuna and sardines and stuff, and they were like, we're not even giving them to you. So I was like, oh well.
So I know it kind of feels like the early days of like Uber and a Lyft
startup,
where they're all fighting for customers. So Walmart's fighting Amazon and different grocery delivery companies, so they're just subsidizing this right now. So
I
take
will,
advantage of it.
I will say this. So my sister works at Whole Foods, and there are some Whole Foods in the city that do this, and we were like, oh, I wonder if they have charges for that. Right. She doesn't know, but they're starting it at her store.
Oh, really?
And she's like, this is going. They said it would like bring up sales by like $100,000 a week.
Right.
And she's like, that's so much more than we bring in now.
Because I mean, I know it to be true. We spent a lot more than we normally would because it's just easier to shop and
exactly.
You know, I'm like, I don't want to walk to that part of the store, but online you're just like,
you're like, I'll get this and this and this and this.
I just don't know. I was trying to Google it and I couldn't find the answer. Is how they're doing it. Like, do they hire?
Yes.
There's a worker who's get paid $8 an hour who's like walking around the store with a cart and doing my shopping.
I asked my sister because I was like, because she said they'll sometimes bring in third-party vendors to do things. Like right now for cleaning, they're doing third-party vendors to come in and like disinfect the store and whatever. And she said they're Amazon. Because they own Whole Foods, they're actually hiring people within Whole Foods, which is good because then they get...
So the answer is at Whole Foods, someone's actually walking around and doing the shopping for you. Crazy.
And she said that was crazy, anyone who's worked at a grocery store, because she was like, number one, the back of the building warehouse is not set up for shopping.
Right, because it's all on pallets.
It's all on pallets and stuff. But the crazy thing is they're shopping in the produce section or whatever.
Right.
And then she's got to restock it.
Right.
So if they're selling 3 times as much, she's like, I'm just restocking like an insane person.
Right.
So does that make any sense? I don't know.
Yeah.
Also, I'll ask her soon, like, there's got to be an upcharge for that. And I made, of course, we live in a rural area, and I was like, oh, I bet they're going to upcharge you by like $20 or something. And she's like, that's a great deal. What, $20? She's thinking 50. You know, people are like, oh, 50 extra bucks, no problem.
20, it's percent or something.
something.
Yeah, I don't know. So it just feels, we only mention it because it's kind of a scavenging thing, and it feels like one of those wild West times, you know, where kind of there's no rules, it's new behavior, and you can get good deals.
Yeah. So
okay, that's the end of this Walmart.com
podcast. Grocery talk.
Thank you for being here. Okay, eBay, this is our life. We complained about last week, not complained, but we talked about managed payments, which is the new payment system for eBay. Not getting rid of PayPal, but basically PayPal will no longer be the only thing.
Well, it's not though.
It's happening. There's nothing anyone can do.
Yeah.
It's fine. Everyone, it's fine. And we got the email that I think a lot of people have now gotten, where basically July 15th or something is when everyone must register, or you basically can't sell on eBay anymore.
Yeah, I mean...
And then it sounds like they're going to be getting people in at the end of July is when I guess everyone will be in it.
It's just rolled out.
And it's been around for a while, so, you know, thank you. Hats off to those of you that joined early and you're bug fixing for us. So,
some people joined accidentally and couldn't get out.
So, a listener who wishes to remain anonymous emails me sometimes, and he sent me some information.
Cool. Let's hear it.
Okay.
I don't think I read it all, so I'm hearing it now.
He says, first off, there's nothing to worry about. I joined 3 months ago and have had no issues, and not one customer has paid by PayPal since I joined. So
interesting.
That's something we've been worried about, is that people are accustomed to paying by PayPal.
Yeah.
Are people going to be like, I can't pay? You know?
Right.
So I've had over 300 sales in 90 days, and each paid by eBay managed payments. So I guess the managed payment is like, it's just like
it's your debit card.
Right. It's just like this thing, and a buyer can insert anything in there.
Yep.
Credit cards, bank accounts, PayPal. Also PayPal,
right?
Apple Pay, Google Pay, whatever.
Well, see, this is great because I have certain friends who like they're all about Apple Pay, and I'm like, what?
Right, and then they go on eBay and they're like, oh, I got to start a PayPal
I got to do
account.
like PayPal, whatever. I actually think it's good.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm interrupting the list, but yes. So it's like a lot of places. Where you go online and they're like, you could do this, like, what's your preferred
To
wallet?
be clear, you can join eBay as a guest and you can pay by a credit card. It's just not so clear and easy. You got to click on that little credit card thing and then you can process it through PayPal.
Through PayPal, yeah.
So we'll see. Okay, here we go. eBay managed payment is paid out either daily or weekly.
Gotcha.
Because we had kind of talked about that.
Yeah.
So you can control this in the settings, and there are these are the only options
Daily
eBay provides. So it can't be 2 weeks or 10 days, daily, weekly. I'm doing the daily payout so that it works just like PayPal, and that I'm getting access to the funds from the sale in 2 to 3 days.
Okay.
So the money is deposited 2 days after the sale to my bank account.
Like a direct deposit.
And normally available on day 3. And this is probably more for Americans because we live in a country where the banking
it takes forever.
System is not automatic. It's so ridiculous.
I will just note, this is just like Airbnb. This is just like Amazon.
Sure.
Like, you do not have instant payments.
Right.
You have it direct deposited and it takes like 3 days.
And if anyone is interested in wondering why it is like that in the States, you can Google like Planet Money and like bank payments or something. There's a whole cool podcast about why are we like this.
Yeah.
It's, Okay. Currently, the eBay selling fees are not auto-deducted from the eBay managed payment proceeds, and eBay still invoices me monthly. He says, I'm hopeful that eBay will start deducting the fees after each sale, but so far I've not read eBay announcing it.
Again, that's like Amazon. When Amazon pays you, they're like, here's a very long scroll of our fees. And then they pay you out, which is actually super helpful.
Yeah, I mean,
for me, because I don't have to deduct any of that.
Right.
Honestly,
I would actually just like to see like how I sold something for $10. Just give me my net profit. Take out all the fees right then, instead of like you give me $10 and then at the end of the month I have to pay $285. But it's in a big lump sum, so I'm owing like $1,500 at the end of the month. Just
the one thing I have a question about. Well, Amazon handles this well, where on some eBay, like eBay Send or eBay FedEx, like if you do FedEx Smart Post, you don't pay for it right then.
Right.
They put it on your invoice later.
Right.
But with Amazon, I actually don't know this with FedEx, but you pay for the label right then, and you're like, that's it. That's just part of the transaction, and then you don't get that money. And
someone was asking, I think it was Mike from Atlanta, he asked a good question, and we don't know since we're not in managed payment, is that how that information is going to get to us for taxes. Like, is eBay managed payments going to send us
a 1099?
No. Are we going to have access to like a bill that deducts everything? So if they're charging us in a big lump sum, is it like right now where you get like, so that way we can import that into GoDaddy or Wave or QuickBooks, and then you can separate all that stuff out for your expenses,
like shipping.
Or is it just like eBay's like, you owe us $1,200, and then my tax accountant is like, well, how much of that $1,200 is shipping? How much of that
It's really funny that you said that, because I didn't even think of that. Right. Like my FedEx, like if I do FedEx Smart Post, I just have always been like, that's an eBay fee. Mm-hmm. But it's not. It's a shipping fee. But does that matter? Because it's an expense, like eBay, it went through eBay.
Yeah, I mean, I guess
it's good to know.
I think anyway, so that's something. Okay, we're not even done yet.
Moving on.
Okay, once joining eBay Managed Payments, each of my items offer the customer to pay by Visa, MasterCard, Discover, PayPal, Apple Pay, or Google Pay. This is great because buyers can pay even faster straight from the eBay app. With the Apple Pay and Google Pay option, it's even faster to pay. I've seen about 15% increase in my sales in the first month of January when I joined. Hard to say since March how much of my sales increasing is due to COVID-19. Okay, so he thinks it's helping his sales, but I guess
people can pay how they
we
want.
talked about that. So in summary, customers can pay faster with more payment methods. I receive direct deposit from eBay in the same time as PayPal, so that doesn't change.
Yep.
I no longer have to ask PayPal to transfer the money daily as I used to.
Yes.
I can control if eBay deposits every day or weekly.
It's automatic.
Lastly, once you join eBay Managed Payment Program, you get another tab named Payments in the eBay Seller Hub. The tab gives you 3 figures: sales for today, sales pending payment tomorrow, and payment deposited today. So you get to kind of see
That's great.
where your money is.
Airbnb is like that.
You always know what money is coming, and since you are already logged into eBay, it's so easy to check your sales.
Yep.
So far, I've had 0 complaints from buyers, I assume, and can only think of positive reasons to join eBay Managed Payments. I've also waited to almost the end because you could have joined a long time ago, but I also wanted to join on my own before eBay forced me so I could avoid the mass craze of everyone unwilling to join. That's a good point. Like, part of me wanting to wait till the end is I want other people to, like, go through all the problems, but maybe
I think at this point, it's been
maybe we join sooner than later.
Like maybe in June, we'll just
he says I'd recommend you take the plunge. Don't think about it. Customers can still pay by PayPal, but likely will not, and will pay via one of the other payments. And this is interesting. And I think this is why he wants to be anonymous. He says, my wife works at PayPal on the working capital team.
Amazing.
So because those of us who we get a working capital loan every so often. She tells me that PayPal is working on a program so that eBay sales can still auto pay towards a working capital loan.
That'd be great.
Yeah. He says, I have no idea if or when this will happen, and I don't work for PayPal. I'm just going off what my wife tells me.
Right.
But,
give them access, say, hey, look at my sales. It's like a credit report type deal.
Which would be great. We really like the working capital where basically PayPal sees your sales.
Yeah.
And then they'll give you, I don't know if they actually call it a loan, but they give you a sum of money and charge you a set fee. It's not
interest.
And they take it out of your eBay sales.
It's actually helped us a lot.
Yeah.
When we've taken them.
I know eBay's teamed up with Square Capital, but they do it differently where they give you some of money, but then they pay it off over a set period of time. So they take whole lot more per month. PayPal is not a set amount of time. It's just a percentage of your sales.
There's an estimated amount of time, but
anyway, So that's actually very interesting. And on the forum, there were other people talking about it as well. Julie B said that she linked to an eBay page, which I appreciated because it's a real fact.
Yeah.
Managed Payments now does global shipping.
Right. So that was an issue for a long time because people would opt in and all of a sudden they were like, I can't ship internationally through global shipping. And I feel like eBay Send is getting replaced by global. Like, why do they have both right now?
Global
I don't know.
Shipping is getting replaced by eBay Send.
Sorry. Yes. Yeah. Exactly. But I'm not saying that's what's happening. I'm just sort of like, why do they have both?
Right.
I don't understand it.
I think, to me, like, I'm not like anti-managed payments. I'm just like, I just want it to be bug-free and doesn't really cost any more than what we pay for PayPal.
Yeah.
I'm a simple man. I just want to like continue what I'm doing. Some people were really getting into the weeds, checking out the new fee structure,
fee comparison,
eBay, and they really got deep into like if you sold this and if you sold that and if you sold it overseas. Some things you save some money on. Bigger items overseas will probably cost you more. I mean, I just basically, as long as it all kind of evens out, that's all I care about, and it doesn't scare buyers away. That's the big thing,
Yeah, I mean, it was maybe a year ago, 6 months, a year, 8 months ago. I on my buying account, I just hooked in my debit card because I would be buying from people who, like, some had PayPal, some had managed payments. I was like, I'm just going to hook up my debit, like, my debit card. It's actually my PayPal debit card, so it's kind of like just like PayPal. It's the same source of money, but
interesting.
So I guess I kind of did that as a buyer, where I'm like, this is my debit card. I don't care how they're taking their payment, whether it's PayPal or whatever.
Now, is that only for sellers that have managed payment, or
I think it's everyone.
Or it works across everyone?
I have not. I mean, when I pay, I'm just paying because I buy from all different kinds of people. So I'm assuming it's through managed payments or PayPal. I'm just like, eBay, use my debit card. I don't care.
Right.
So
cool.
It's kind of seamless for the buyer.
So my question is, are we going to sign up for it?
I think that email really helped.
All you have to do is just go there and just like click on it. Like it's right there on our seller hub.
I should.
It's like, just click here.
I think the thing that's a little bit...
Get started.
The little bit annoying is like I use PayPal for so many things that...
You can still use PayPal.
I know, but I have to like put money. I have to be like, put money in PayPal.
Yeah.
Which probably isn't a big deal.
Yeah. I mean, I agree, and let's end this. But I feel like that's just is my thing. I just don't want it to like be a big, still on eBay as long as we have. That's been most painful thing is when there are changes where it really makes you change the way you have to do things, and it's fine. But then you have to be like, okay, have I adjusted properly? Yes. Is it going to affect my sales? And that's a whole thing. It's like I'll click get started right now. I just want it to not change how we do things.
I want it to be seamless and frictionless and not affect our sales, especially right now because the world is insane. So
should I click on it right live right now?
No, because I need to decide which bank account we're hooking it up to and all that stuff.
Okay, next question. I'm passing you a note written in pencil. And it's got a checkbox by each thing.
Okay.
Is the Postal Service good or bad? Check one.
Good. USPS? Is that what you're asking me?
That was a long question on the forum where basically the question hadn't been that simple, but people were asking, how is it doing for you, the Postal
Oh, I think they're doing
Service?
It brilliantly.
And people...
Incredibly.
And, the Postal Service in the States is a big, gigantic... huge thing, and in different parts of the country it's going to work differently because basically it's based on the leadership in your small community and the amount of stuff in that area. So like for us, our shipping's been great. Other people were complaining. There have been some delays as things move through the country or in certain parts of the country, but man, stuff's getting up. I mean, honestly, stuff is getting through New York and New Jersey pretty damn fast. I mean, people were pasting their tracking information where it's showing like an item ping-ponging
bouncing
around different states. I mean, and people saying like they've had to refund buyers because it's just taking too long.
I've been upgrading to priority as much as possible.
Right.
I'm like...
do you think that's a big...
I still have sent some things like parcel ground or whatever because I'm like, it is too expensive with priority for this big weird thing. But if it's the same price, sometimes it's cheaper.
How is that possible? How is priority cheaper than...
I have no idea. It makes no sense. I will upgrade it because I'm just like, I need this to get there.
I will say the one problem we have had is your sister sent us like a 20-pound, 30-pound package.
It's a box, and Parcel Select.
And it's parcels, so it's the cheapest way to send something.
I chose that. It is my fault. Because I was like, I'll just do the cheapest
And
whatever.
It's been, 3 weeks?
It's been 20 days.
Okay, so...
So I called the post office where it got picked up.
Right.
And I spoke to one of the clerks, which was great. She picked up right away. I was like, okay. She said, this is in Massachusetts, our post office and our sorting facility warehouse has been slammed because we're helping sort parcels and packages from New York and New Jersey. But still, I'm like, Can you just move this box along?
So that's fine. So where's my thing?
She was really nice, but she's like, we've been slammed because we've been taking. So that might be why stuff is ping-ponging, because they're like, just take this truck to Massachusetts.
Yeah, I mean, we're so pro post office.
Yep.
It's like one of the best things about this country, I think. It's just like such a great... and if it were to ever get taken apart, it'd be so crazy, because you could never really rebuild this where, it's in every... But just to end this too, I always tell people who are like, how do I, get things to work better for my post office? I mean, I'm always just like, make friends with your carrier.
If you can,
or the people at your post office. Because again, it's a gigantic organization with hundreds of thousands of people, but really all that matters is your little local post office. And if you can get in good with them and create some kind of communication, and they understand you're going to put stuff out on your porch and pick up, that's what matters.
I have tried to do that. Like there was an issue I was having with some packages getting sent back to me. And there was something wrong with them. And I called my post office. They knew exactly who I was just by saying, oh, I had an issue with one of the labels. And they're like, yep, we saw that. And I said, I'm sorry, I'll fix it. Like, they were like, yep, no problem. Like, whoever, like, some random person in the office was like, we know who you are.
Because we ship a lot.
I ship a lot. So, but they were like, so great, they were like, sure, no problem. Just put them back out again. It's not a big deal. It's like, oh, I love you.
There's a guy in the forum called Old Dad. He's everyone's grandpa on the forum. And he says that phone support is back on eBay.
I heard, yes. So that's amazing.
You can supposedly call eBay.
I have had a lot of luck emailing its anchor support. Anytime I'm like, can you check out this, or this return is 45 days, and they just close it. I'm like, I didn't even have to sit on the phone. Which, look, if they answer, I have my problem solved within 5 minutes. Like, it's not a big deal. But I would love it if eBay, a couple things, if eBay would implement all call centers be in the U.S., number one. Number two, chat. I would love to be able to solve problems on chat.
Right.
I think
why. So real quick, why do you want it to only be in the States?
Because I feel like whenever you, and this is not even just Anchor Store, like when I've called as a buyer, like I have to call the regular phone number. The U.S. based call centers are more empowered.
Right. So I think just to be clear, it's not geographic location. It's just that you want people who are empowered and knowledgeable, not just somebody being paid a low wage and just reading off of a script.
Right. Now, if that could happen overseas, great.
Right.
I'm not saying I care where it, thank you for clarifying that. I don't care where it is.
Right.
I care about the empowerment of the rep that I'm talking to.
If you want like a knowledgeable person that will hear you in a very efficient way and solve the problem, and they have the power to do it, rather than what it feels like when you call overseas is this person is getting paid $2 an hour, if even that, and they're like, oh, thank you very much. And then they go to like a booklet and they're like, oh, you should do this. Okay, thank you very much. And
and you're like, there's no flexibility in and I'm not saying like they need to solve my problem like to my benefit. It's just that there's a little bit more understanding of like flexibility. I don't know.
Sure. Because most of us are calling not for like simple things like, how do I do this one thing? And then someone can be like, push this button and that will do it. No, we're like, I have this very specific issue.
So bizarre.
I need you to understand the complexity of my issue and the its nuance of this sale.
Yeah.
Okay, the next person, someone wrote on the forum, and this is a little bit not safe for work. So if you have children, you can close your ears.
Pause.
This seller says, what's up with these other sellers that take photos of random items in front of boobs?
Now, I will say the person...
You were that person that asked that.
The person on the forum that asked that was me. I did not use the word boobs. I used the word bosom.
Bosoms.
Because I didn't want to make the forum not safe for work. But, so I was buying stuff on eBay as a seller. I was sourcing. And the listing I was on had like related listings of like electronics parts and like remote controls and stuff. It was like so blatant. It looked like I was looking at like the adult listings. I was like, whoa.
And you actually sent it to me, and it is like,
it's blatant.
it's it's like a hand with an item with it right in front of some boobs.
Yeah.
Not naked boobs, but like,
pretty close. Yeah. Although eBay doesn't consider them.
This is not something new.
Right.
We've all seen this. We've talked about on the forum before. There'll be like, there's one guy that sells military surplus, and he has girls, like young girls in bikinis, wearing like, military hats. And real quick, it's not about being prude. I thought it's interesting. Your reaction was, you think it's an unfair advantage to people that don't put bosom photos in there.
Because I was sitting there and I was like, to me, this is search manipulation.
There you go. Yeah.
That is search manipulation to me. eBay does not consider it search manipulation because they don't consider that full nudity.
Right.
You can have full nudity listings like old Playboys or whatever, but they have to go in the adult section. They can't just be in vintage periodicals.
So that is interesting. Like you can't keyword spam. That's illegal. So,
right, sure.
I can't say, vintage barbershop chair, Britney Spears. Because,
Unless Britney Spears is painted on it.
Because Britney Spears is keyword spamming for... But you could have a picture of Britney Spears with the barber chair in the photo.
I guess you could. Yeah. So to me, that... It was just a weird thing where I was like, I want to report this seller, but I don't think I can because there's no reason. Like,
all's fair in love and war.
So anyway, it was just an interesting conundrum where I was like, I feel like it's not fair that I guess I could sell.
I think those kind of people attract maybe a certain kind of buyer, and I think that they actually don't do themselves a service because I think there's a lot of buyers that would not. It just feels kind of trashy.
It is. Look, it is,
and plus. The one seller you sent, I think, is a woman because I think it was her own.
I think it's her own listings.
So, like, if you got it, Flana, I can't imagine. Imagine the kind of buyers she attracts, like, or people who just will send a message to her.
I guess the argument ultimately is, it's not fair. Except I could make my listings like that if I wanted to. I actually could do it.
It's just bad taste.
It's just, I wouldn't because I don't want to do that. I want to be a family friendly listing. But it was just one of those things where I was like, I would love to just ask what other people think, you know, like, and we've all seen those listings where you're like, oh man.
Okay, our numbers for the week, May 3rd through the 9th, 2020. We sold 60 items.
Wow, yeah.
And again, that's...
Look, I was packing. I was like...
In the summertime last year, we were selling like 25 items. So our gross sales were $1,869. That's gross.
That's
not
good.
Including shipping, but before all the fees and all that stuff. So that was great for us.
Yeah.
Things we sold an Xbox for $100, and this is an Xbox, which is exciting for me, that we found on the streets of New York in the garbage.
Jay walked home, New York home, with it's pouring rain out.
Yep.
With this box and garbage bag full of soaking wet, and I'm like, I hope that this is
I was so excited. I was so pumped.
Everything worked.
Yep.
I mean, I tested all the things.
We had a friend's house and we were like plugging it in and doing it. So
it finally sold. It sold for $100. Yeah. This was weird though. It was sold by a drop shipper because they in a very long message said, please do not put the invoice in here.
Right. And it's interesting, you didn't tell that to me because their thing was, we're trying to be
green.
Yeah, we don't want to waste paper, but they sold it to somebody else.
Shipper.
Interesting.
But the thing was, for me, I was like, I get miffed about stuff like that where they're like, please do not put the invoice in, because I'm like, they're charging this person double.
Right.
But I'm like, look, I've been sitting on this Xbox for 8 months.
Right.
They spent $100 in my store.
Yep.
Fine.
Yep.
I don't care.
Yep.
I'll ship it to whoever.
Yep.
The hilarious thing is, I did print out an invoice, but I cut the invoice off so I printed it anyway, but I put their address up because I always like to put the address in case something happens to the label. So whatever. But
we sold a vintage lamp for $100.
What lamp was that?
That was that lamp we've had for, it was like
it's a glass globe.
Like a globe, like a hanging.
It actually was a lamp because it had.
We've had it forever, so we're glad to sell
that
those.
Long, but I've had actually multiple sales and multiple offers on that. The sale person canceled it because it wasn't free shipping. I'm like, this thing's going to cost me like $25 to ship. That was a good sale. I like that.
And we just sold, lots of random stuff. Just like, we have
coffee mugs.
So I was going to mention that we sold 6 different sales of coffee mugs, which is more coffee mugs than we've sold in a while. So
to me, the hypothesis is everyone's at home and they're like, I need a cool coffee mug.
Right. I know. So it was great.
It must be.
Customer issues. So of those mugs, there was a woman who made an offer on, we had these 2 like Japanese, like, was it like
Hello Kitty
mugs.
Type mugs.
Typical, this is like classic. Everyone has had someone like this. Hello, I would like to make you an offer of like $5. They're like $50. These are for poor handicapped children.
Yeah.
Just
a sob story.
So please give me, and we're like, decline. And then she keeps sending, how about $7? Decline. How about $9? So basically, we end up blocking her.
I blocked her.
But she was able to buy it, and I think it's on the same account, because I think she got sent an offer. She ended up paying $24, and that's a price we
accepted, yeah.
But I feel like it got sent to her without us knowing it got sent to her. She
had 2 accounts.
Oh, really?
This is why. I blocked one. And then somehow she did another offer. I swear I blocked the other one. So I was like, this is the same person.
Right.
But the offer was still valid.
So, of course, the problem is she's crazy, or I don't know, she's mentally ill. She's not acting right. And, of course, she gets it, and there's something wrong, and she wants money. And so I just do this thing I do with everyone. Send it back. I would rather eat $10 in shipping cost and have her not have the mugs than to have her manipulate us and try and get like a bit of money back. So she opened a return case. We accepted it. We'll see if she mails them back. But we did talk about on the forum, though, about how you deal with people who open up different accounts or try and buy after you block their first account. And really, there's nothing you can do.
You know what I should have done? This is what I should have done. We knew it was her. It's the same like small town in like Illinois. I should have just canceled it. I know. Although here's the thing. I've had people be weird like that. Like, I want this, blah, blah, blah. And they get it and they're fine. And you're like, okay.
It's all about who's hungry. We were like, this is probably going to be a problem, but let's take a chance because we've had these for a long time. $25 for some mugs we got for a quarter. So it is what it is.
But, that happens. She might not send them back. Who knows?
Okay. Final thing before we get to the calls. Mike on the forum, a different Mike. He says, in case you haven't heard, Facebook Marketplace is doing a promo going on now until June 30th for 50 free shipping labels. That means you can sell anything on Facebook Marketplace and ship the item to the buyer, and Facebook will pay the label. What's great is that it's up to 1 cubic foot and up to 10 pounds. Crazy. Of course, only certain categories are set up for the shipping option, and sellers must have made a few sales. Not sure how many. many to be shipping eligible. You'll not receive the funds for 15 to 20 days.
Whoa, that's like PayPal.
After buyer clicks purchase and uploads their shipping info, they have 30 minutes to change their mind before Facebook will allow you to print a label. Seller has 3 days to ship or it automatically cancels. The user interface is a real pain, and I don't like it at all. I can't figure out how to get the label oriented for the thermal printer. And I can't figure out how to even find the label on desktop. I had to get it from mobile and resend it through Messenger to print from desktop. Again, not to my thermal printer. This is definitely optimized for mobile all around. I did check out the buyer side of it, and it looks very easy for them, which is a huge plus. I'm sure Facebook will get better at this as time goes on, and 5% is a steal. The stamps.com shipping actually costs more than eBay. I found out, and I've already sold. So he just found out about it, and when he wrote me, he said he already sold 5 things through that. And then I'm just asking, is this like the beginning of Facebook that's really going to move in on eBay territory?
Look, I hate Facebook deeply. But I also think that why not? If that's where people are shopping, I would love to be able to figure out, like, if I can ship stuff. Like, I should just go on Marketplace and see if I've sold quite a few things through Facebook lately, but I don't know what the threshold is.
Right here, like
locally.
in our town.
But you have to sell, because what you do is when you sell something, you say, yes, I sold this on Facebook to this person.
Right.
So that you build up a reputation, so they allow you to ship.
Right.
I don't know what the threshold is for how many.
So does Facebook have a thing like eBay where you have a selling account and it shows you everything you sold?
It's just your I think it's like separate from your profile, but like it's basically your Facebook profile, which mine is like basically the most blank profile ever.
Right. Huh.
So I don't know.
Yeah.
I would like to be able to ship things on Facebook.
Yeah, because I mean,
if people are shopping there.
It's 50 free
labels.
Lot. That's a lot. Yeah. And we could try and sell a bunch of stuff.
Yeah. That you're willing to ship.
And it's 1 cubic foot up to 10 pounds. Like, that's pretty big.
So it's 12 by 12 by 12. That's a cubic foot, right? Yeah. That's a pretty good... That's
10
a good...
pounds. I mean, that's
look,
shoes.
Most of the stuff I sell, like, actually, like, 90% is under that size.
Why don't you do it?
Because they won't allow me to ship.
You got to check.
I got to check.
So we actually do not have any calls or questions this week.
How can that be?
I think it's because a lot of people were just on the forum itself, so that's good. You can find us there at scavengerlife.com/forum. And that's where you can join the conversation of just all these things we talk about. A lot of the podcasts we just get from what we're talking about online. So this is like a live forum, I guess. You can, if you want, call us and leave a question or a comment on our voicemail line.
The phone number is 540-407-8486. You have 3 minutes to leave a message. You can also email us an audio file. The email address is thescavengerlife@gmail.com.
This episode will definitely be up every Monday morning. On Wednesdays, you can see Steve's what's sold video where he shows you the things he sold. And someone had been asking like where they can find it on YouTube. I believe he has his account private.
It's not private, they're unlisted. So you have to have you can't look, because what Steve does is he'll post videos of his like stereo equipment working, but the what sold videos are unlisted for the general public, but I can link to them directly. So
you can only find them on our blog.
Yes.
Mainly because I think what he was telling us is that he doesn't want it, doesn't want like a buyer to see this guy
I
only
paid
bought
$3 for this.
So
it's exclusive to Scavenger Life. That's what we're trying to say.
It is. It's super exclusive. We're happy he does it, and I hope he gets a lot out of it. Yeah, you can. What else can you do with us? You can subscribe to all this stuff on YouTube or iTunes. So if you're new to all this, just hook yourself up and get the latest. And all of our archives are basically online, so you can hear them for free just forever.
You can also download all of the episodes. We do charge you for that because we pay for server space. It's like 6 gigs.
Yeah.
It's huge.
So if you want like all of them in like an archive, like MP3s, you can actually
download all.
And it's nice. It gives us a bit of money.
Yeah.
That's just on our website. You can see it on the sidebar.
Coffee? Anyone?
Yes, and the business we are partnering with our friends Phil and Jill.
Broadporch.coffee.
Yep. We encourage you, if you want some good coffee, go over and buy some. What would make me feel good is if you actually did a subscription where they send you like a cool coffee every month. That's super awesome.
Or every couple weeks, depending.
Yeah, but
it's on the sidebar. I linked to them on the sidebar. So
we're actually going to meet them on Wednesday to talk about like future stuff we're still planning, and they've just been like overwhelmed with all the people that have been buying.
They have been roasting like crazy
from Scavenger Life. So Jill was saying that they're now putting like little notes in all the things, and they're actually going to give us like a little coupon code so we could announce it if people wanted to like get a coupon.
So if you are ordering coffee from them, say you came from Scavenger Life, because we're trying to keep numbers on it, and we want them to think that we're cool, obviously.
You're like, who are these?
What is going on right now?
I'm like, Phil, you've got to do a Trash Elf
blend
roast. And he's like, what are you talking about?
He's like,
what are you talking? So we'll see. Welcome to he's like, who am I going into business with?
We're like, welcome to our world.
Right. Anyway, this podcast is ending in 3, 2, 1.
Bye.